Shalom, shalom. Edem and Adaru, Edem and Adaru. It's early in the morning. You gotta wake up early in the morning. You rise up when the sun rises. I know a lot of y'all just now probably getting off work or just now waking up to go to work. I've been wanting to break this down to y'all for nearly 20 years. And, a lot of this shit ain't gonna be televised pretty soon. I'm just giving you the overstanding and the truth. And I studied this deep. I studied the Bible for nearly 15 plus years. I was with a rabbi, William Yadin, Rabbi Ross Adonius, out of Brooklyn, New York. I studied with Israelites, the high priest from Washington D.C., Nashville. I studied the KJV, Ethiopian Bible, the Torah, Valley of the Dry Bones, Dead Sea Scrolls, and Haile Selassie Bible, and whatnot, Ethiopian Bible. This right Bible here come from. This is the Dawit. This is the Dawit come from a high priest who's deacon turned to a high priest who started the four churches in Nashville, Tennessee in the early 70s, and from Washington to Oregon. It's four main Tawadro churches in Tennessee and Nashville and Chattanooga and I think Memphis, he told me. But this is still in the ancient language of Gaz, or what they call G's, or modern day Amharic or Amharic, Hebrew. So, because the locks are gone, still Rastafari, you know what I mean? Rasta to the bone. But I moved on from a Rastafari state of mind to a higher consciousness. This whole thing is about a higher consciousness. So when you study the Bible, it's about the mind and the consciousness, and it's transforming. So it's like a transformation. Most people say they're talking to God told me this, God told me that. Then I'm gonna break all this stuff down so y'all can have a better understanding of what it really is in alkaline water. What it really is it's in the Bible. It's three main states, or it's three main parts in the Bible that you really should understand. That your preacher, pastor, or deacon won't really tell you, and don't. They know, but they go by 303 Act. So I'm gonna tell you the truth on this religion and Christianity and whatnot. That's why if you study ancient Kemet or what they call Egypt or whatnot, but I'm gonna tell you in Nubia, it's all about self. It's about you. So in the Bible, the main thing is people. The people in the Bible relates to the state of mind. You have places in the Bible that's your levels of consciousness, and you have inner spiritual positions or processes. So when you're reading the Bible, instead of reading the Bible as a history book, read it as a map to your inner world. You get what I'm saying? You understand? Do you understand or understand? We ain't gonna understand. I want you to understand and overstand. I want you to be above. You know what I mean? So the core idea of this Bible is everything in the Bible represents you. Everything in the Bible, like I told you, you got people, places, and events. So everything in the Bible represents you. It's your thoughts, your emotions, and your spiritual higher up, or evolution. See what I'm saying? So the key examples I want to tell you is, the first thing that the Christians talk about is Adam. So it's real simple. Adam, not the first man, because Adam represents the natural human consciousness or the physical mind. You understand? So when you understand that, it's the natural human consciousness and physical mind. That's Adam. And Eve is not literally a woman. It represents the feelings, emotions, and your subconscious desires. You know how they say Eve ate the apple, gave it to. See, that's the emotions and the desires. And when y'all talk about Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ was not just a man walking around. It represents the awakening in divine consciousness within you. So when you talk about the higher self in yourself, Jesus is telling you that you can do this yourself. So you have to. So it's really representing your divine consciousness within you. See what I'm saying? And when it talks about Jerusalem, a place, that's the places. I'm giving you everything: people, places, and events. So Jerusalem is not just a city; it represents the peace and spiritual awareness, a higher state of mind. You understand? And Egypt, not just a place. It represents the bondage or the ignorance and being stuck in a lower thinking. So when you look at America right now, they're going to war and whatnot. But understand that the Rasta man has been telling you that Babylon is falling, America is falling. So you have to level up your consciousness and don't fall for the ignorance. Let that be. It has nothing to do with us. You continue your life and living it upright and positive. So when we talk about the devil and Satan, Satan is not a red guy with horns and shit. See what I'm saying? It represents an era of thinking. Whatever you're thinking negative, that's the era. And the illusion and the negativity in your mental patterns. See what I'm saying? People talk about doing bad and like, you know what I mean? That's your thinking, your era of thinking and illusions and negativity and your mental patterns that you do. Anything you doing like negative and shit, that's the devil mentality. You got good and evil, both dualities. See what I'm saying? So how to use this is instead of reading the Bible like a story, you ask, what part of me is it talking about? You understand? So when you read this Bible, when you read it, ask yourself what part of it is you. Because a lot of our people have been stuck in this Christianity and religions from 400 something years, 600 something years, but they never understand the real Christianity. Come from the Eastern moon. And for example, I want you to take your pastor talks about Jesus calming the storm. It really means you calming your mind and emotions, crossing the Red Sea. When he said, "Oh, Jesus crossed the Red Sea," so you break down the mental limitations and fear. So whatever you're scared to do, you do it. That's the crossing of the Red Sea. That's your limitations and your mental state, and you fear that you can't do this. See what I'm saying? So the important part of one's reading the Bible and the resources in the Bible, that's when ones don't have an understanding of what it really is, because this is real talk. So you can't really accept the Christianity part, the traditional part. It comes from a new thought. It's an esoteric tradition. It focuses on more of a self-realization from worship. See what I'm saying? So why people use it? Because it turns into a self-healing manual and mind training and spiritual awakening system. So what you really don't understand is, I'm gonna break this down to you right now. So when you're looking for the real part of the foundation, the real code, the Bible is written in a symbolic language of consciousness. See what I'm saying? When it's talking about God, it's talking about divine mind and a universal intelligence. So when it talks about man, it talks about your self-awareness or your just your awareness. And Jesus Christ, you're awakening to a God self. See what I'm saying? The Holy Spirit. People say, I got the Holy Spirit when I went to church. The Holy Spirit is a life force or breath or an intuition. See what I'm saying? That's the main part that you had. That's the real code right there. That's the real code. The God, the man, the Jesus Christ, and Holy Spirit all in one. See what I'm saying? The divine mind, the universal intelligence, your awareness, uh, your waking a God self, your life force, breath, or what you would call it, intuitions. And people are not talking to God. What's talking in your brain, in your mind, is you. Oh, God made me do this today. Nobody made you do that but yourself. See, because the mind is a computer chip. You've been programmed to think when you go to sleep, it wakes up continually, finishing off what you was doing the day before. So the human makeup of this thing is, okay, when we talk about the Trinity or the I, that's the human makeup. The body, that's Adam. That's the physical awareness, like I said. That's the people, places, and events. And you have mind. The mind is the Son, Christ, or the thinking and awareness. So you got body, that's the physical. Thinking and awareness, that's the mind. And the spirit is a divine source. The spirit, the Father. So you got Adam, the Son, Christ, and the Father. That's a divine source. You understand? And the core symbols that you must know of that God, this is a real hard to really get people to understand. God is an infinite intelligence, not a man in the sky. Because people looking for something in the sky, it's nothing in the sky. You understand? I done drove so many planes back and forth to different countries. It's nothing in the sky. There's a different realms. Once you go to a different realm in your mind state, you go to a different realm. See what I'm saying? That's the intelligence of the infinite, not no man in the sky. So when we talk about Jesus Christ, this is hard too, because a lot of people just think of Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. The awakening state of consciousness, and really, when you talk about Jesus Christ, it's the goal. The goal is to become a Christ conscience. That's when you get the Christ oil in your pineal gland or pineal gland. It's two connectors that cross. Once you get the Christ oil in your chakras, fill up the chakras, and come to the Christ oil. That's your that's the whole goal of being here on this earth, what you want to call it. You come down here and do become the Christ. So people walking around working, slaving and shit, but you really come to do the work and get out of here. See what I'm saying? So anyway, the serpent, when people talk about the devil, the serpent in the Bible, it's your desires and temptations and your lower urges. Like, man, I'm basically, just think about it. It's not evil. Just misuse energy. See what I'm saying? It's just misuse energy. Everybody has a serpent. Even myself, we have a misuse energy in this whole life force. So I'm saying. So when you talk about the tree of life, the tree of life is the divine alignment and spiritual truth. See what I'm saying? That's the tree of life. It's the divine alignment. When you get aligned and figure it out, that's the spiritual truth. And the tree of knowledge, then when they come like talking about the apple and whatnot, with the good and evil, see what I'm saying? That's the duality. It's one. It's only one really. You got good and evil. One. It's always one. Everything starts from 0, 1. Nothing can bring back one. You get what I'm saying? That's the duality. That's the good and evil thinking. So you have hell. Hell, that's the heel. Understand? I could go deeper in this right here. But that's the heel. Hell is really a mental suffering and confusion and low vibration. Like if I'm having a bad day and whatnot, I'm just say, fuck this shit. It's just mental suffering. It's a confusion. It's low vibration thinking. Energy. Everything is energy. So people looking for heaven in the sky, right? Heaven is only peace and clarity of a higher consciousness. That's how you think and how you live. That's heaven. We gonna live peace today. This one day, I'm living in heaven because my day's been peace, clarity. I'm thinking positive. I have a higher consciousness. You know what I mean? So when I think about sin, I'm giving you everything. When I think about sin, sin ain't nothing but a misalignment or just wrong thinking. I'm broke today. I'm just go rob somebody. That's your missing alignment. That's your wrong thinking. See what I'm saying? That's the part that no one's understanding with heaven, hell, and sinning. That's why people are scared to sin, and why people are scared to even think, because the Bible and the pastor think, oh, I'm going to hell because I'm sinning, because you singing. When you talk about the blood, right? The blood is really the life force. That's your energy. The blood is, you have to have it. The blood is the life force, the Christ blood or Jesus blood. See what I'm saying? So these are the real cores. So I'm gonna break down the stories. These are the major stories and I'm gonna decode these stories right fast. I hope y'all got enough time. Take out notes, then y'all ain't gotta really do what y'all think y'all gotta do when y'all go to these churches and stuff. So Genesis in your Bible, the first book is right, Genesis, right? It's another book that's called, it's a little Genesis, but you have to understand different types of books. Okay, you got Genesis. Genesis is the creation story. See what I'm saying? You got Adam, Eve, the garden, and the serpent. You get it? So you got Adam, like I told you earlier. Adam is the conscious mind. And you got Eve. Eve is a subconscious feeling. You got the garden. The garden is the mind. The serpent, the desires that's pulling you off balance. It's only straightforward, no right or left. So it goes straight forward, right? So that message really is your thoughts plus your feelings that creates your reality. So in Genesis, the book is talking about your thoughts and how you create your own reality. It's simple, ain't it? It's really simple. So when we talk about the Noah's Ark, the Noah's Ark, the flood, the ark. The flood is really the emotional chaos. And the ark of it is a higher awareness protecting you. You get what I'm saying? You got the emotion chaos, man. Then you got the ark protecting you. You get what I'm saying? Your emotions. So the message to the flood and the ark is only you stay centered within life flood. We having a hard month. We having a hard year. So you stand firm, right? As Rasta say, we stand firm. You understand? So you stay centered when life floods you or life gets hard. See what I'm saying? Moses and Egypt. A lot of people hear this in the Bible. I'm giving you just the main. Egypt, Pharaoh, and Moses. The three, what they really talk about really at the beginning. So Moses is nothing but, Egypt is a mental state or mental slavery. You in America. You in your Mesoamerica, your land, the native people land here. You're going through a struggle. See, the chains ain't on y'all no more, on the melanated people. It's on everybody now, even the Caucasian people. Even the Caucasian people are slaves. They don't even realize it. It's a mental slavery. Bob Marley said, break the chains from mental, your slavery. Mental slavery. It's a mental slavery. The chains ain't on you no more, but they still on the brain on 98% of the ones in here walking right now on this earth. You got Pharaoh. Pharaoh is an ego control. You know what I mean? Pharaoh is nothing but an ego control. You got Moses. He was the inner awakening. So the message for Egypt, Pharaoh, and Moses really is your free mind from Babylon system. But Rasta been telling you for a long time ago. You know what I mean? We ain't working for Babylon. What Bob Marley said, we're not working for CIA. We're not working for Babylon. You know what I mean? Work for yourself. Your riches is only thing is your life. You can have all the money in the world. We have so much money in the world, and it's nothing. So you have to free your mind from control shitstoms, or what they call system. We're going to say shitstom. Okay, so you talk about the Red Sea. Moses crossed the Red Sea. Jesus crossed the Red Sea. Anyway, that's breaking the fear of limitations. So never think you can't do nothing in your will. So break the fear and go for it. Whatever you got, whatever you try to, whatever you want to do it. And the wilderness, when they say he stayed in the wilderness for 40 years, 40 days, you know what I mean? So, like me and you, how long have you been studying this stuff? That's the wilderness. See what I'm saying? It's the spiritual testing and discipline phase. That's the wilderness. How long I've been doing this work? How long I've been doing this work? It's a calling. It's a calling. I've been doing this work for 40 years, 20 years. That's your spiritual testing till you break out of it, till you become the high self or the high priest of yourself, the high Christ. Because the message is really the discipline phase, the testing. You down here to do the work. You down on earth to learn, to practice the test, really, to practice the work. And the ones talk about David and Goliath. This is a real good one. You know what I mean? It's called David, Goliath, the David and Goliath story. The David really is faith consciousness. It's nothing but faith consciousness. Is what the small focused mind beats giant fears. You know what I'm saying? So you got Goliath. Goliath is the fear or the doubt that you can't do something. See what I'm saying? So that message is David is the small, it's the faith consciousness, and Goliath is the fear doubt. So that's the small focused minded people that have the carnal. When the Bible talks about carnal mind, that means that people still have a kindergarten mind state that they can't really understand. I can tell you everything in this thing. I can tell you all the truth about herbs, about just religion and all that shit, but it's up to you because people have the kindergarten mind. So the message is that, you know, the mind beats the fear, the giant fear. So just if you fear, break the mind and go for it. Don't be scared. You know what I mean? So the crucifixion of Christ, I was talking to a brother the other day. He was talking about Christ, and I was trying to tell him he was thinking Christ was hung on a cross. Christ was hung on a tree. I told him an almond tree. It's written. You got to understand it. It's no cross. Like I told you, the cross, the true crosses are right here. Like I told you, that's the body with the halo, the sun around it. You know what I mean? This is the key. This is the key cross right here. It's the vagina at the cross. The Peter's going inside the cross. This is the key to the third eye. You know what I mean? Jesus was always in the vagina when you go look at your scriptures. Anyway, these are the true crosses. Because the real cross is nothing but an upside down sword that the Christians use. So the crucifixion is killing the ego or yourself reborn before rebirth. See what I'm saying? So like the phase that I went through myself when I became out of the what you want to call the dogma of Rasta, because I know what it's about. I let the ego go. I let the locks go before I was rebirthed into who I am now. See what I'm saying? Because it's not about locks. You understand? It's about this right here. So the resurrection. So like I told you, the crucifixion is nothing but killing the ego and the self before you rebirth your new self, become new, become one again. So resurrections. Resurrection, the Christians like talking about resurrections. Resurrection is spiritual awakening and the rebirth. See what I'm saying? Resurrection ain't nothing but when you become awoke. That's why it's talking about resurrection. You become woke in the rebirth. That's the when you do get crucified, you let go of everything. Resurrection is when you become woke, or what they call woke, but I'm gonna call awakening and a rebirth. Excuse me. Uh, Important numbers in the Bible, or just important numbers in the whole Bible. You know what I mean? The important numbers in the Bible, you have three important numbers. You got the mind, body, and spirit. That's why so many people in the conscious community use mind, body, spirit. That's the three numbers. And you have completion. That's seven. You have seven numbers to equal completion, spiritual perfection. And you have the 12 orders. The 12 orders are the divine orders. What people think of now in religion is the 12 disciples and the 12 faculties. And all that equals 40. So you have the 3, the 7, the 12, and you have the 40 testings until you do your transformation. You get what I'm saying? When they talk about the 12 disciples equals the 12 powers that are in you. So like I told you, I'm going to break this down to you because and you got the 12 people. You got people, places, and events you see in the Bible that ones don't really understand. So you got Peter, John, James, Andrew, Thomas, Matthew, Bethlehem, Simon, Thaddeus, James, and Judas. See what I'm saying? Peter is the faith. John is love. James is the strength. Andrew is the courage. Thomas is the overstanding, or what you want to call understanding. Matthews is the will. Philip is the power. Bartholomew is the imagination. And Simon is the zeal. And the Thaddeus is the order. James is the judgment. And Judas is the misuse of the mind, or the betrayal. That's why he was in Jesus talking that shit, listening. So he really betrayed Judas. I mean, he really betrayed the Christ, who y'all call Jesus. You understand? That's the betrayal. So, how to read any verse or master the key. You ask yourself, who is the characters? Like I told you now, when you read this book, ask yourself, who is the character inside me? Or inside I and I? What state of mind is this? What is it trying to grow or die? See what I'm saying? That's the three. The character, the state of mind, and who is it? Who is it? Is it trying to grow me, up me, or bring me down? You understand? So the real message of the Bible is to strip away everything. And here's the truth. Right here's the truth. When you read the Bible, strip away all that shit and find out the truth. Because the Bible is about mastering your mind, aligning the divine intelligence, transforming from a lower state to a higher self. That's it's simple. It's really simple, man. It's really simple. It's really simple. It's just simple. You master yourself. You're getting aligned, and you transform into a higher self, man. It's really what can I really tell you? The straight truth of it is that literally when you're reading it, it keeps when I used to read it to people back in the day and just tell them about it, they were stuck. They said, "Oh, Ross Corey, it sounds real," but they're stuck because they're caught up in the Christian mind state of it. See what I'm saying? That's why when you read the Bible, it keeps people stuck. But when you read it as a metaphysical part, or esoteric, or what you want to call the hidden knowledge part of it, it wakes people up because it's really simple. You know what I mean? But if you go too far, you can't start making up meanings that ain't really grounded. You know what I mean? Because everything balance. The balance is always matters. The balance matters. You can't just make up anything in this book. You know what I'm saying? So what I want you to do next is, if you really want to master this, you have to know that the next step is yourself. You get what I'm saying? Because the next step on this whole thing is yourself. Because when the Bible talks about Genesis, I'm gonna talk about creation. When he said, God created whatever, earth, whatever. But really, it's the creation of the mind. It's the creation of the mind. It's the beginning of God created heaven and earth, right? When the Christians talk about God created heaven and earth, okay, it's talking about God is the divine mind. That's your pure intelligence. Heaven is the higher consciousness, your spiritual awareness, and earth is the physical awareness, the body, the material reality. So when you think about it, your reality begins in consciousness first, then it becomes physical. When you're born with the mind, then you become with the physical. You get what I'm saying? Mind, body, spirit. It's okay. Hope you get a better understanding. So when he talks about let there be light, it says let there be light, let there be light. The light is nothing but awareness and an overstanding. You get what I'm saying? The light is nothing but awareness and an overstanding. So this is the moment you wake up mentally. It's no sunlight. This is a consciousness that's turning on. So when you start to see people start wake up now, because you can find anything on the internet. Anything on the internet you can find. If it ain't even real, you can find what you're looking for. You get what I'm saying? So when we say let there be light, you start to become awoke. You start to become awareness now. You know what I mean? It's easy now. It's easy to become awareness with the internet. It's when you say God divided the light from darkness in the Bible, when it said God brought everything come from darkness. If you understand the melanin, everything come from rich soil, carbon, atoms, whatever you want to call it. So the light truth, you got the darkness is ignorance. When I go into darkness, that's my ignorance. That's your shadow. It's a whole different system. You got the truth is the light. The ignorance is darkness. That's why you have to wear linen, whiteness, brightness. It's the linen, it's the light. You get what I'm saying? It's the light force. And when that begins right there, you start to discern yourself from the illusions once you become the truth. When you start becoming awakeness, you get out of the illusions. You can see what some people see. What we see, what people don't see. You understand? So you had, what did he say? You had 6 days of creation. And what God did, or what y'all want to call God did, he had 6 days of creation. The real meaning of that is each day, it's not 24 hours in a day. See what I'm saying? It's stages of mental just a mental development. You know what I'm saying? In the growth. Because you got the light. You got the light in each. It's the 6 days, right? This is the 6 days. I'm going to break this down to you. This is to be simple. Get you a pen and pad. Light, the firmament, land and plants, the sun and moon, living creatures, and man. But really, we're gonna put woman there too, because it has to be woman. But anyway, the light is awareness. You get it? The firmament. When you talk about it, go through different firmaments. But this, I'm gonna break it down to you. The firmament is really the thought separation of thoughts. It's the firmament is versus the high versus the low thinking. The land is your stability or growth mindset. The sun and moon is the consciousness and the subconsciousness balance. You understand? The living creatures, he made living creatures. That's your thoughts become active. Man and woman. We're going to use man and woman, and we're going to use both of them. That's the full self-awareness, because it's not just man, it has to be woman. That's the full self-awareness. That's the 6 days of creation. That's the real meaning. Light, firmament, land and plants, sun and moon, living creatures, man and woman. So you get what I'm saying? That's what you have to understand about that. So man, okay, this is right here what I want to talk about right here. Man in God's image. Man, he said, okay, when people say that, when I say God is here, y'all taking it wrong, because y'all don't have an understanding. God is not a physical appearance. It means you have to create a mental power like the divine. You understand? So you create your through a thought, word, and belief. Or we ain't gonna say belief. I want you to know. See what I'm saying? Cause man made in his God's images ain't nothing but thoughts, word, and knowing. See what I'm saying? Not the physical. It means the creative mental power, like the divine. That's how you become divine. Once you get your thoughts and the words right, you know what I mean? And knowing. So Genesis 2 in the Bible, the inner you. Now, it zooms in from a universal to a personal. See what I'm saying? That's the Genesis 2. Genesis 2 in the Bible it's the inner you. It's like an inner you. It talks about Adam. Adam, like I told you, is the conscious mind. It's the thinking mind. You get it? God's breath, or God breathed into Adam, the breath of the life force. That's what I was telling you. It's the life force spirit. You become alive through divine energy. Like I told you, everything is energy. You become the divine life force through energy. And I want y'all to understand what that really means. You have to. The Garden of Eden, like I broke it down to you a while ago, this is your mind in a pure, balanced state. The Garden of Eden. You get it? So, the tree of knowledge is nothing but the good and evil. It's the dual thinking, the judging, overthinking of the ego mind. And really, this right here is where humans fall right here. When it comes to like the tree of knowledge, they don't understand the good and the evil, or the duality is only one. It's when you start to labeling everything instead of just becoming aligned. I used to do that bad. Eve, like I told you, Eve is not the woman. Eve is nothing but the subconscious mind, or just your emotions. You know what I mean? When I say women get emotions and feelings, the moon and whatnot. So Eve comes from Adam, they say, but really your feelings come from your own thoughts. So forget all of that. Eve comes from Adam, and what you want to know, which in any, you know what I mean? But that's really false. So you have to understand your feelings. Your feeling, when we talk about Adam and Eve, Eve is a subconscious mind. It is not got to do with no woman. It has to do with emotions. Eve is from Adam. Your thoughts and feelings. That's your Eve. That's your thought process. See what I'm saying? That's the problem ones don't have in when I talk about Genesis 3. Genesis 3 talks about it's talking about the fall in the mental or the physical. Because I want y'all to understand the serpent and everything. I've been doing this for 20 years. Because the serpent has nothing to do with the devil. The serpent it's all the desires and your temptations and your lower thinking. Because it's not evil. It's just you misdirect your energy. So that's your serpent in energy. See what I'm saying? And like when they said Eve was tempted by the snake, or I read some book that was talking about a man, a pale blue-eyed man. But Eve ain't really, but your emotions get pulled from your desires first. Like if I want to do something that I know I shouldn't be doing, that's my emotions pulling me from my desires. And she gave Adam the apple, what they want to call it. That's then your conscious mind acts on it. So then you have to realize the pattern. It's got to do with feelings, thoughts, actions, and reality. That's the whole thing when it comes to Adam and Eve. It has nothing to do with no awareness. Your awareness has to shift to a duality. That's when the eyes open. That means judgment, shame, and fear. You understand? And then that you have to realize that when they were naked, that's the self-consciousness or insecurity begins. That's when ego is born right here. When you start to get the realize they was naked, that's the self-consciousness and insecurities. So curses, when it talks about curses in the Bible, that the real meaning is the pain in childbirth. It's really simple. You get what I'm saying? The curse that the woman has, or what they call Eve, is nothing but the pain in the childbirth. So that's manifestation becoming harder. Life feels like a struggle. You get what I'm saying? That's the curse. When you're going through these struggles, that's your karma debt that's manifested. It becomes harder. You have to understand that it feels like life is a struggle. You know what I'm saying? And when they talk about man toe in the Bible, that means life becomes work instead of flow. Everybody go to work right. People going to work right now, right? That's your man. That's the toe. You just going to work. You going to work. You going to work. That's the flow. See what I'm saying? Life become work instead of you just flowing with the natural life. And when they were talking about the serpent crawls, right? The serpent crawls is it's the desires is now stuck at a lower nature. That's when you start to get to that lower thinking. You get it? The serpent crawls. The mind starts to get to a lower thinking nature. And banished from Eden. Banished from Eden is nothing but when you leave your peaceful awareness to enter a mental struggle. You get it? So the whole message of Genesis is the whole story is not about people. It's about what's inside of you. So Genesis story is nothing about you. It starts with the pure awarenesses. It develops the thoughts and emotions. And you fall into an ego, desire, and confusion. You lose inner peace. You get what I'm saying? So what people miss when they read it, this is not history. This is a psychology or spiritual. This is a spiritual map. How this applies to you right now. If you overthink, feel emotion or imbalance, struggle mentally, you are living outside of Eden. You get it? If this shit applies to you, you overthink, feel emotion, struggle mentally, and you start living outside of Eden. You get what I'm saying? That's how you understand the scriptures in this Bible. So how to return to Eden, the real practice is control your thoughts. That's Adam. Clean emotions. That's Eve. Master the desires. That's the serpent. Choose alignment. That's the tree of life. You get what I'm saying? That's the tree of life right there. Real talk. A lot of people stop at that point and don't realize that it's just symbolic. Everything in that Bible is really a symbolic book. This is the manual of over or mastering your mind and reality in this book. See what I'm saying? That's when you have to understand that what it really means in the book when it's talking about. I gave you Exodus. I gave you Genesis in it. So when we talk about Exodus, Bob Marley was talking about Exodus. Exodus talking about freeing your mind. That's the slavery, freeing your mind. That's the mental slavery, conditional thinking, and the system control or fear or survival mode or dependence. You get what I'm saying? Egypt is when you are stuck in habits. You programmed by this society, and you start to living in like a lower thinking. Your thinking level is lower. That's Egypt. When Bob Marley was talking about we living in Egypt, America is Egypt. That's the Babylon. You get what I'm saying? So when you get out of Egypt, then you become who the ego really is. That's the Pharaoh. When they talk about the Pharaoh, that's the ego or the false self. Because your ego wants to control, it rejects and changes shit. You get what I'm saying? It keeps you stuck. So Pharaoh is the voice that says, stay comfortable and don't grow. You get what I'm saying? That's when you have to understand that shit right here. Because this is we're gonna talk about Moses. It's really simple. I'm giving you this stuff quick as possible. Because Moses is nothing but the self-awareness. The self-awareness is when you start to wake up and you got the part of questioning everything. When y'all waking up and now y'all starting to question everything. That's the part that wants the freedom. See what I'm saying? Once y'all starting to wake up now, y'all starting to question things. That's when you start to realize that something ain't right, and how about how you been living. Everything is about you. It has nothing to do with none of this other shit. See what I'm saying? When you talk about the burning bush, the burning bush has nothing to do with a divine awareness speaking to you. That's your divine self. So when you say, people say, like I told you, God had me do this today. That's you had your own self doing it today, because your own mind is telling you that. There's no God telling you. See what I'm saying? That's when you can feel that you are called to change. See what I'm saying? You can't ignore the truth anymore. Like I told you, everything's out here for y'all to understand. Man, you got like the 10 plagues in the scriptures that's broken down in a false system. See what I'm saying? Each plague, something is collapsing in you. The whole Bible is about you, just you. It has illusions, toxic habits, false beliefs, and emotional attachments. That's when you have to growth and feel like destruction at first. You know, okay, when y'all start to wake up, you feel like, oh man, this shit you start to change. You start to change because you feel like you feel like you feel like you're falling, but you're starting to wake up. When you wake up, it's hard because you're starting to see shit that ain't real anymore. See, that's the growth starting to feel like a destruction at first, but that's normal. Been there, done that. So when you talk about the Red Sea really is the point of no return. When they were talking about crossing that Red Sea, that's you. That means you can't go back to the old life. It's shit simple. You crossing the Red Sea, I'm moving forward. I can't go backwards. You know what I mean? Or you have to break the fears that you're doing. Like if you're scared to do something, like I told you, that you have to go ahead and go through it no matter what. So crossing the Red Sea is the faith over fear. See what I'm saying? Like I told you, you have to move forward even when you don't see the full path yet, because you feel uncertain. That's why people have a hesitation of trying to try it in the right path, because it's new to them. So they're not really have an understanding what it really is. So when they talk about the Most High or Moses in the wilderness for 40 years, 40 days, that's your discipline. See, that's your discipline. You got to eat right. You got to detox the mind. You got to break the old habits and build a new identity. See what I'm saying? Once you change yourself, you become new. That's the crucifixion and the resurrection. This is where most people quit it right here, because the discipline's too hard. Like if you want to go ITAL to become a vegan and whatnot, you can do it for a while, then you'll break that path, because you have to be disciplined. That's when you have to break the old habits. See what I'm saying? And when they say, oh, God gave me 10, it's like so many commandments. I can break this shit down to you. I'm gonna give you the 10 commandments, that what the universal mental law is. It's no rules to control you. It's principles to align your life. That's all it really is. It's principles to align your own life. And the golden calf, a lot of y'all ain't understand the golden calf. That's falling back from into a distraction to a material worship. That's why I was saying God didn't like people worshiping idols and shit. So that's the golden calf. You falling back into a distraction, or going back to the material world. Even after awakening, you can relapse. See what I'm saying? I did that one time before when I was straight vegan. I was doing it all the right way. I relapsed. Then you come back to it, because it's nothing but a mind. You got to be disciplined. So when the promised land, we talk about the promised land. The promised land is when people say we're going back to Africa, or we're going to stay in the Mesoamerica. That's the promised land. Mesoamerica is the promised land. America is your promised land for y'all people already here, indigenous people that's already here. You get what I'm saying? The promised land is nothing but a higher consciousness and freedom. Okay, you done studied, you done the work, you living upright, so now you living in the promised land. So that means peace, clarity, and when you become a self-mastery, when you become your own master, that's the promised land. You get it? Okay, that's real talk about Exodus, because most people starting to wake up and feel the call. Feel the call is the burning bush. Starting to wake up is Moses. But back at the Red Sea, see what I'm saying? Because growth is uncomfortable. Man, when I changed, when I was going through it back in the day, boy, I used to cry, because I didn't know what was happening. I was changing. See what I'm saying? It was uncomfortable. And let's talk about Jesus. Jesus is the full consciousness. That's the master. See, okay, that's what I've been telling you. Okay, let me try to break this down to you simple. Like I told you, Christ or Jesus is nothing but the oil in your pineal gland, or what you want to call pine or pineal gland. So Jesus really is it's a full conscious master. Now we're gonna go higher. Now we're going to go higher right here in this lecture, whatever you want to call it. This is an overstanding for you, and I won't come back with this no more. I'm giving you everything that you need to wake yourself up, to find out who you really are. Don't worry about what's going on outside. See what I'm saying? So, the birth of Jesus. The birth of Jesus is really the awakening of the Christ consciousness within you. This is when you stop living unconscious. You begin walking in awareness. You start to feel like you start to wake up again. You starting to just wake up. People ain't really woke up, so you have to understand that shit. So this, when it comes to baptism, birth of Jesus, the baptism. So the baptism is spiritual cleansing. That's your rebirth. The baptism only means letting go of your old self. You become new again. Like I tell you, I cut the locks. That's my old identity. See what I'm saying? That's letting go of the old self. And when we talk about the 40 nights, the 40 days and 40 nights in the wilderness, the 40 days, 40 nights in the wilderness, it's testing your discipline. That's what that solid right there is. It's the same patterns as Exodus. You're testing everything that you've been through. You get what I'm saying? Simple, right? So temptations by the devil, right? That's the ego testing you. That's the power. The ego. You got the ego. The temptations of the devil. The ego testing you by power, ego, and survival. That's the devil. That's the lower mind. It has nothing to do with no serpent out there. It has nothing to do with that. But if you want to read the Enoch book, we can break that down to your next chapter. Someday we're going to break this Enoch book down. I have 2 Enoch books. In the teachings of Jesus, and the real meaning, what Jesus is talking about in the teachings of Jesus, the kingdom of heaven is with, this is simple. Christians, please understand this. When Jesus' teachings, the real meaning of Jesus' teachings, when he tells you the kingdom of heaven is within you. The kingdom of heaven is with you. Within you. You are the kingdom of heaven. It's not a place. It's a state of your mind or your conscience, what you want to call it. According to your faith, be into it. Or according to your faith, you have to be unto you. It has to be unto you. It has to be unto you when you come into Jesus, because Jesus' teachings is really ain't got nothing to do with that. It's the kingdom of heaven within you. It's not a place. It's a state of consciousness. See what I'm saying? Your belief shapes your reality. So whatever you want to call heaven, like I told you, if we living in some bullshit today, that's hell. If I want to live in peace and clarity, that's heaven. See what I'm saying? So according to your faith, to be unto you, that's what shapes your reality. See what I'm saying? So you have to, when it talks about love your enemies, that means master your reactions to others. You know how people racism and shit. So you have to, that's love your enemies. It's simple. You master your reactions. Even though you might not like these people, you have to master your reactions to what it is. So you got to be still. Be still is, be still. You have to learn how to be still, not meditate. Be still and know. That means to control the mind. Because the mind is like a computer. It's like I told you, it's doing a lot of recording every day, and it's bringing it back to you. So I'm saying, that's when you have to control the mind, the thinking. Just be still. Quietness. Miracles. The mind over matter. So the miracles is, when you start to do the miracles, it's mind over matter. That's healing, walking on water, raising the dead. So healing is the energy alignment. When they talk about walking on water, that's the emotional control of what's going on and raising the dead. I raised from the dead. Every means it means reviving the dead state within you. See what I'm saying? Has nothing to do with none of this out of this magic shit in the Bible. It's really all about you, like I'm telling you. When I told you about the crucifixion, when they said Jesus was crucified and whatnot, this only means the death of the ego. That's the hardest part. Like I told you, crucifixion is the death of the ego, letting go of who you think you are. See, okay, like, man, back in the day, like I told you, we was wild doing what we was doing. We had to let go of the old you. See what I'm saying? That's the crucifixion. Letting go of who you think you really are, because you ain't who you really are. See what I'm saying? That's when you have to know what it really is to become resurrection. Because crucifixion, then you resurrect again. Resurrection is the full spiritual meaning of awakening. Everything has to do with you being awake. You know what I mean? You become self-aware, aligned, powerful mentally and spiritually. And that has to do with this Christian stuff, like I told you. I done debated with him. I know. I done studied this. Everything has to do with you. Resurrection is you coming from being old and coming to new you. That's the resurrection. It has nothing to do with Jesus and whatnot they want to call it. See what I'm saying? So the full putting all this together, Genesis in your Bible is talking about the fall into your ego. Exodus is talking about you wake up and break free. So Jesus, you master yourself. You get it? And where you probably are, or what you're trying to find out is, really, to be honest, you still in Egypt. That means you're stuck in the mindset. At the Red Sea, that's a sacred change. You're in the wilderness, rebuilding, walking like Christ. That's when you become disciplined. You get what I'm saying? When you become disciplined, this is not religion. This is a system of self-mastery. You have to master yourself. But don't get lost in just knowing it, because knowledge without discipline is, you can't transformation. You know what I mean? Like I told you, people scared to die and whatnot. What they don't understand what death and dying really is. See what I'm saying? When you come down here and do the work and move on. Like my father told me, a lot of people scared they want to go to heaven, but they're scared to die because they don't understand. They don't want to let go of the physical. See what I'm saying? That's the part you have to understand. The knowledge is without discipline, and it equals no transformation. So when you figure out what you want to do about Jesus part, okay. So when we get to the parables of Jesus, the parables of Jesus is, I'm gonna decode these parables of Jesus. Then I'm done with this. I told you, Revelations. Jesus parables decoded. Revelations as an the end times. That's what. So me and your grandmother, them great grandma, been going through this for what, 6,000 years, right? I'm gonna say 6,000 years. Some people want to say 600 years. But Revelation as the end times, or we call it as the inner end times, because it's not the end times yet. It's the inner times of the end time. And Jesus parables, it's the hidden inner decode. Jesus, okay, what people don't understand about Jesus, I have to break this down about Jesus, because I used to break this down about Haile Selassie being Jesus and God, whatnot, Rastafari. So look, Jesus taught in parable because the mind understands symbols. That's deep. That symbols are deeper than facts, because the mind only realizes symbols and shit out here. Once you can understand symbols, then you really got it. Because the parable of the sower, and you know, when he talks about the seed, the soil, the thorns, the good ground, okay, the seed is the truth. That's the divine idea. That's the idea, the seed. I'm going to plant something in my idea today. We're going to do this. See what I'm saying? That's the truth and the divine. You got the soil, the ground. That's your consciousness. You got the throne or the thorns. That's the stress. That there's distractions. A Babylon system is nothing but noise. You get it? So the good ground is a disciplined mind. It's all about discipline, mind, body, and spirit. It's all about how you. Real meaning of this is the same truth lands differently based on your mind or your inner conditions. You get what I'm saying? All this shit, it goes by how you really thinking, how your inner condition really is. See what I'm saying? When they talk about the lost son or the it's a lost son after you got the father, the son leaves home, wasting inheritance. It's all in there. Returns home. So the father is the divine source. The son leaves home. That's the ego separation. Wasting inheritance. That's the misuse of the life force. Returning home. That's your spiritual remembrance. All this really means is every soul can return home, can return from the conclusion back to alignment. Like if I go off track, you all can go back on the same track. You know what I mean? If we go off track, we can always get back in the line. See what I'm saying? We can always get back in the line. So when people talk about the 10 virgins, like the Muslims I know, the real Muslims, not the fake Muslims, they talk about 10 virgins shit. The 10 virgins ain't nothing but the oil lamp and the bridegroom. You get what I'm saying? So the oil is the spiritual, the preparedness of it. And the lamp is your consciousness. The consciousness ain't nothing but being woke. And the bridegroom is nothing but a divine awakening moment. Okay, when you start to wake up in the morning, that's your divine awakening. You get what I'm saying? You wake up, you're supposed to be still for at least, I say 30 minutes, just sit there. Don't get up and get programmed again. I know a lot of us got to do working and shit, but at least do 5 minutes of it to get the mind back to reality. Because that means stay inward. You get what I'm saying? Because awakening comes suddenly. See what I'm saying? When you become woke, it comes suddenly without you knowing. You say, fuck this shit. Something ain't right about this world. That's when you start to become woke. I know it takes a lot of people a long time because it's just how they've been programmed and stuff. See what I'm saying? And talents. The talents ain't nothing but gifts. You got the burying talent. You got the multiplying talent. When they talk about I'm giving you everything you need, then that's to be it. The talents ain't nothing but gifts. The faculty powers, the burying talents only means fear and self-doubt. So when you understand that, the multiplying talent only means the right use of divine ability. That means when you can use what you put inside of you. Y'all have a talent, something to do. So put it to use. See what I'm saying? And what the wheat, how Jesus had a wheat, and the furrows, and they had a wheat. The wheat and the tares. The wheat ain't nothing but your true thoughts. The tares is the false beliefs and the ego weeds. Like I told you, it's always two. It's the duality. Evil and good is both one. We all one. We all have the dark side. We all have the good side. You know what I'm saying? We all got a shadow. That's why I say practice your shadow. But that's only means both grows together until they separate again. See what I'm saying? So now we living in Revelations, people say. Revelations is what people call the end times but I'm going to break it down to you what it really means. It's a transformation in your inner self. It's the end times. I know gas and shit going up, prices going up, right? This is where most people get lost at right here. Because your grandmother been telling you we living in end times back then, right? And it still wasn't the end. Back 2012, they said it was Armageddon was coming. Nothing. See what I'm saying? So this is where people get lost at. Revelations is not mainly about the world destruction. It's the collapse of the old self and birth of awakening self. You get what I'm saying? It's all about you becoming this new Christ, or when I say God is here, you are the God. See what I'm saying? But a lot of people ain't gonna understand it. So the beast, when it talks about the beast is the lower nature, the survival of fear, the control system, and the false identity. You get what I'm saying? That's the beast. Your lower nature thinking, the survival, control system, and false identity. So the beast is what rules when the ego sets on the throne, because we all have an ego. You get what I'm saying? The ego can help you. So that's why I told you it can help you survive. You get what I'm saying? But you have to let go of the ego. See what I'm saying? When I talk about Babylon, this is Rastafari word. Now I see everybody use it. Rastafari have always been using this, and they always thought we were crazy because they say, "Oh, that's in the Bible." No, this is Babylon. We living in Babylon. Anyway, see what I'm saying? Babylon is nothing but I've been telling you since 2003. Babylon is nothing but a confusion. That's why I never get confused and getting caught up in this illusion shit or this material obsession. I can go out here and so we can go. Rasta man can go out here in nature and survive. Natural. You get what I'm saying? That's the external validation. You got confusion, illusions, material, and the external validations. This matches the old mental system that must fall. See, Babylon must fall. Rastaman Bob Marley said that. Even my elder, Von Benjamin, Akia Becker, been saying this. Babylon must fall. And Armageddon. Armageddon is the inner, it's no Armageddon, right? The Armageddon is the inner war between your higher self, lower self, and truth, illusion. You get it? This is the battle happens in consciousness first. When you start to become conscious, man, it's deep. It's hard because you got your higher self coming. You fighting your lower self, man, because you keep going back and forth. You finding the truth. Then you seeing all these illusions that these people ain't seeing. You understand? That's what the Armageddon is. So when they say, "Oh, the lake of fire," the lake of fire is purification. When you become pure. It's not torture like they be telling you. See, the Bible, the preacher scares y'all to go in these churches because the preacher tells y'all to go in these churches. The church is nothing but an insane house. It's a fix, but you really have to fix yourself. It's a mind. I understand people I understand to try to find the word. That's why the word is you. I gave you the whole, however long this lecture is. See what I'm saying? It's the purification. It has nothing to do with no torture. It's the only thing it is burning away your false beliefs. You can't believe nothing. You have to know it. Your trauma loops and the ego structure. That's the lake of fire. Once you get rid of the ego, man, you got it. And the New Jerusalem. I mess with Rastafari, Ethiopian Rastafari. They Rastafari, Ethiopian Rastafari, people in Ethiopia. That's the New Jerusalem. But I'm gonna break it down to you what it really is. See what I'm saying? The New Jerusalem is only restored divine consciousness. It's the peace after you get purification. It's the mind, body, and spirit harmony. That's why so many conscious people or these little groups are saying mind, body, and spirit. You can say that, but you have to really live that. You have to really live what the New Jerusalem is. It's a divine conscious and the peace after purification and the mind, body, and spirit harmony. See what I'm saying? The new city is rebuilt in your temple. That's your temple. You don't have to go to church or to a building to find out who you are. See what I'm saying? The source is you. See what I'm saying? It's a higher source out energy out there, but you are part of it. That's why the Rasta man has always said I. We don't say me and you, we say I and I because we are the one. You get what I'm saying? So people scared of 666, and 666 is nothing but the six whatever in your body. You get what I'm saying? 6 molecules and etc. 666 molecules, 600s. You know what I mean? 666 is only man trapped in material mind. It's incomplete consciousness repeating itself. That's all 666 is. It's you caught up in material, and you ain't even complete your conscious. You ain't even completed the work. See what I'm saying? So 666 is not a monster. It points the mind looping in the lower patterns. That's all it is. It's just your mind just going in a loop and back to the lower patterns that you once did. So the teachings of this series from that I'm giving you is that you got, I gave you Egypt all the way down to walking with Christ. I'm gonna give I give you all of this. So when you master all three, that's Exodus. When you master this right here, when you master these keys of yourself, you master all three of these. That's the Exodus, Jesus, the fake Jesus, and Revelation. See, Exodus is when you leave in this bondage world, or what you call America, what you call the system. And Jesus is only mastering your mind. And Revelation is only complete the ego in of what you're trying to rebuild. See what I'm saying? So the mirror it's all about you. That's the whole being of what it really is. So once you get the mental, like I told you about Egypt being mental slavery. So that's the, like I told you, that's your fear, and it represents the condition or the survival or the bad habits. You know what I mean? Or like, look, you can bring it onto your phone, social media, fake food, validation loops, fears of based choices. So the key takeaway is, and when you go to your mental slavery, is freedom starts when you start to find, when you recognize your bondage. Like if I'm on the phone all fucking day, that's I'm in bond. I'm in a slavery. You've been a slave. See what I'm saying? So when I talked about Moses' awakening call, you know, the voice of Moses is the part that refuses to stay asleep. See what I'm saying? And it speaks to an inner discomfort that starts to start waking up the path that you was living in. So when they said Moses talking to the burning bush, that's just a moment of life speaks into your spirit, and you won't let go, and you won't let the ignorant, you won't ignore the truth. Like when the burning bush is saying, you know, he was speaking this through his spirit, and he found the truth. So the key takeaway is that you have to your awakening begins when you start to with the holy distraction or the holy dissatisfaction. That's what that really means. When you talk about the Red Sea breaking fear, you know, this is the point of no return. Once you go through the Red Sea, it explains how fear always rises right before the breakthrough. When you get to that point, you'll start to get that break. You start to become a fear. That means that the Red Sea is impossible situation that that the forces are, or the faith. So you have to understand when you're coming through, the breakthrough only happens when you start to move while you're not afraid. See what I'm saying? So in the wilderness, that means discipline. That's the discipline phase. Everything you done ate. Look, wilderness. When we talk about the wilderness ain't nothing but a detox season. That's all he was doing. He was look, the Rasta man and the Israelite, we've been doing this Sabbath. It's a sabbatical order that no one is paying attention to. The wilderness they talk about Moses was in, he wasn't doing nothing but doing a detox during that whole season. A detox, studying, fasting, and eating right. So that means that the old habits die slowly. Like I told you, he was fasting, he was in solitude, rebuilding his identity, and learning to be disciplined. So the key takeaways is your transformation requires a discomfort and just be consistent with what you're trying to do. If you're trying to eat right, if you're trying to do this thing right, just stay consistent. I believe in you. I know you can do it. The 10 Commandments, like I told you, that's the universal law. The universal law teaches the alignment and the truth and integrity and the restraint, and it's really nothing but an order. It's an order, the right use of the mind. So the key takeaway is the principles start to protect power, and you start to understand what it really is. You start to understand the Christ consciousness birth. Once you start to figure out that, because when people talk about the birth of Christ, like I told you, the Bible is nothing but symbols. You can't recognize the symbols because they don't read you what the words really mean and whatnot. So the birth of Christ only symbolizes that you become awakened, your awareness, you become being born in the human mind. So you understand? It's got to do with you. Your mind becomes woke, conscious. Key takeaway of this stuff is divinity must be born within, not borrowed from outside. See what I'm saying? You can go out to these groups in these spiritual communities and do whatever and become what you want to become, but it has to start with you. It can't be outside forces. See what I'm saying? It's all about, anyway, I can break that shit down to you more and more. Anyway, you know what I mean? So the baptized, being baptized, people being baptized. I used to mess with a guy from, he was from Middle East, Jordan River. Yep, man, I can't think of his name. But anyway, back in the day, the identity, the baptism is nothing but an identity death. That you become your old self is dead. That's what baptism really is. Baptism is only the death of the old self and washing away the state identity. So when you take away all that right there, it only means you cannot carry your old self into a new life. That's what baptism really means. And people have to understand what it really means. In the temptation in the wilderness, the temptation in the wilderness is your ego. You know, that's the testing, the power, the pride, the pleasure, and the shortcuts. So once you take away every new level test of your old weakness, there you go. See what I'm saying? So when we talk about the kingdom within, when people talk about Jesus and the kingdom within, Jesus and the kingdom within is the center of this whole thing I've been talking about this morning. It's the teachings have that heaven is a state of consciousness. It's no heaven up in the sky. It's your mind, it's your consciousness. So stop searching outside of what you must build inside. See what I'm saying? Heaven is you. Heaven is the temple. See what I'm saying? So that's why people see Jesus had to break this down in parables, in symbols, because he knew that the people weren't going to understand. So he had to break this down into symbols. See what I'm saying? The kingdom was with you, but nobody's understanding it. See what I'm saying? You are the kingdom. So miracles. When is he doing miracles? Miracles of the mind, as miracle as a mind power. So healing, walking in water, right? When he was healing and walking on water, that's multiple loaves of what's happening. It all becomes symbols of master of the thoughts and emotions and energy. You get it? So miracles in power in the mind ain't nothing but healing, walking on water, and multiple things. All become symbols. Like I told you, it's master of the mind. So the key takeaway is miracles begin when the mind, the faith, and your action starts to align itself. You understand? That's the miracles of the mind. And the parables of the sower, you get what I'm saying? So when he talks about different soils, represents mental conditions. That's all it is. The parables is nothing but different mental conditions. And if you understand this is your results, reveals the condition of your inner ground. That's all. The sower, it's the preacher the pastor preacher need to tell y'all this stuff. So when you prologue the sun, so that when you prologue the sun, it teaches that the soul forgetting itself and returning home. Because like I told you, the Father, the Son, and the source. The Father is the source, the Son left home, right? So no matter how far you drift off, you will always return back. Always. You all return back to what at the center. You will always come back to alignment, like I told you. Everything is forward path. You might go left or right, get off track, put the mind to it and be disciplined. You'll get back on the right track. Cause I see a lot of people back doing well on here. So I'm saying, when I talk about the talents and the purpose of this whole thing being yourself, like you got the athletes out here, you got these people making big money. That's their talents. That's your gifts. Your gifts are spiritual faculties meant to be multiplied. See what I'm saying? So you have to unuse the gifts to become buried destiny. I hope y'all understand that. You know what I mean? So when I talk about the wheat and the wire, you see the furrows, they always have wheat. You know what I mean? Wheat and versus the tares. You know what I mean? I told you that versus the tares and what the wheat really is. So the truth and illusion grows together in the same mind. See, that's why I'm telling you, the mind is so busy, it can play tricks on you too. See what I'm saying? If I go in back in the day, I used to go in the building and think everybody racist. Plus, that's my spiritual calling. I'm a reader. So I can go in these buildings and pick out perverts, drug addicts, and all that. But it's all become oneself. See what I'm saying? That's the terror. That's the truth and illusions that grow together in the same mind. But you have to be a discernment is the spiritual harvest of it. So once you become real woke, you'll reap the benefits of the harvest. See what I'm saying? If you do goody today, you're gonna get benefits. Just keep doing it. No matter where, you might not know it, but you're gonna get your benefits. Or what people say, God blessed me. You know what I mean? Today, that's your benefits. And like I tried to explain to you a while ago about the beast in Revelations explained is the beast is only your lower survival mind ruled by fear and domination. The key takeaways of it is whatever rules your impulse becomes, you are the beast. If I want to go out here and just do some bad shit, my impulse has got me. That's the beast mode. People talk about beast mode. That's what it really is. The beast mode. The beast mode. The beast mode. And as Rasta Man always said, Babylon is falling. The Babylon only symbolizes, like I keep telling you, it's only confusion, false systems, and just being external validation. So you have to understand your false inner empire must collapse. Wherever you're doing, the falsehood of it has to collapse. That's Babylon. Babylon's falling. That's Babylon. If I go to work today, I'm staying positive. You get what I'm saying? We ain't paying attention. Work smart, not hard. That's how you beat Babylon's system. If y'all people out here working. See what I'm saying? Don't go in there and slave yourself because you will never be rich. Your riches is life, like I told you. So the 666 and the lower mind. 666 is not bad. 666 teaches a repetitive material looping and incomplete consciousness. That's all 666 is. It's just repetitive things like looping and stuff that you ain't complete in your conscious mind state. So you have to the repeated lower patterns are the real mark. If I keep doing the bad things, repeat it back, just keep going back to the bad things, that's the 666 of the lower mind. Do you understand where I'm coming from? That's a 666 of the lower mind. And once you become the Armageddon within, I know I explained this to you right, but the Armageddon, it's within. It's no Armageddon. The Armageddon is the great battle, is the war between higher awarenesses and lower nature. That's what that really is. The battlefield is your own consciousness. Man, like I tell you, I used to go and even my wife even tell you, I used to go to work and be ready for battle. But really it's my own mind. You get what I'm saying? Your consciousness is the battlefield. Every day we go out this door, the mind gets ready for battle. That's why you got to be still and understand what's happening. The New Jerusalem mind. That's why I keep telling you. Because this is the rebuilt self of the purification. See, you want peace is what remains after the illusion burns away. Once you get out of that lower mind state and become peace, it's all about peace. Like that's the world needs peace. It's all about peace and love. That's the only thing that can cure the world. It's peace and love. So once that burns away, oh man, you in peace. You get what I'm saying? So you have to start walking. You have to start walking the Christ path daily. You have to start walking Christ path daily. That's what I try to been preaching for so long. You have to not even cause I'm trying to make you a roster. I'm trying to just give you information that I learned and that I do, that what I was taught. Don't forget, everything is a gumbo. Every culture and every what people want to call conscious groups, everything is a gumbo. Rasta has a part in it. Muslim has a part in it. A cult has all of it. Freemate, all of it has a part. It's a big gumbo. You get what I'm saying? And I have that roster part. You get what I'm saying? That spice. So walking the Christ path daily. That's when you close. Okay. The walking the path daily is when you start to. I'm gonna end this right here. When you, I hope y'all get a better understanding of what this really means. So it's not what it's not what it really is. It's all about you. Everything is about you. Just remember that peace, love, and happiness is it's love, peace, love, and happiness is all about you. So once you figure out the peace and the love and the happiness, that's when you become yourself. And I'm gonna close this out right here with just being disciplined. You have to prayer, you got to pray, you got to stay stillness, you got to have food, your thought, speech, your service. So walking the Christ oil is that really when you align is a daily practice. It's not about one event. See what I'm saying? And I hope y'all understand what's really going on right here. So y'all can go back and check the video out and do what y'all have to do. And I want to tell everyone, more and best, shalom and shalom in the home. Rastafari, shalom.